Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about 5 key tips to keep in mind during your relationship if your partner or loved one is a fearful avoidant attachment style. So, the very first tip is that it's going to be very important during the course of your relationship, especially when you're building out early in the dating phase and the honeymoon phase, to be transparent. Fearful avoidance, because they have such big trust wounds, they really need transparency. They want to come to understand you, who you are at your depths, at your core, because the more understanding they have of you and the more transparency they have into your life, the more they feel safe around you and feel like they can let their guard down and open because they understand who you are. One of the biggest unmet needs a fearful avoidant had in childhood was to be able to form a healthy attachment strategy. There was never like a consistency or congruency around parents and caregivers in childhood the vast majority of the time. If this is your attachment style coming from childhood, in certain cases, somebody can become fearful avoidant later on after a really unhealthy relationship long term. But what's really important to recognize is that transparency at the beginning of a relationship will build that trust, will build that understanding, because usually a fearful avoidance is coming from such a lack of that and such inconsistencies that they feel like relationships are unpredictable and confusing and difficult. And so when there's transparency, it helps them sort of build out like, okay, now I understand who you are, and I can come to trust you and feel safer around you, which in turn lets the fearful avoidant drop their guard, open up, and then bond more deeply in a relationship, which is also very important to fearful avoidance. So ways of being transparent would be not like, I don't mean like have somebody track you on your phone or have somebody say, who are you with all the time when they talk to you, and be inquisitive in a way that's like violating a boundary. I literally just mean like share things about yourself and your day. Things like, hey, today I did this and this happened at work. And this is how my relationship is with my coworker. And we got into an argument or a disagreement, or we had a great conversation. We came up with inspiring ideas. Like, to be transparent in terms of like sharing your life, your experiences, your things, who you are, and the why behind the reasoning for things in your life. So if you have a disagreement or an argument, say, for me, this is a no because, or for me, I'm not okay with that because, and give the why, because again, that helps fearful avoidants understand. And this is super, super important to them. If you are fearful avoidant and you're listening to this and you want to do a much deeper dive into understanding like the needs that you'll have in different stages of a relationship, our advanced attachment style courses, our advanced fearful avoidant course, literally goes through everything about your attachment style and how your different pain points are going to show up in each of the 6 stages. And I'm putting a link to a 7-day free trial for that course below in the description box if you want to just like get that roadmap really quickly. Number 2, tell them that they have to set boundaries and communicate their needs, because you are not a mind reader like they are. Now, it is not, if you are the partner of a fearful avoidant, it is not your responsibility to get them to communicate their needs and set boundaries. Technically, that's on them at the end of the day. But it can be helpful to let this person that you're in a relationship with know that I won't always know everything you need from me. Fearful avoidants are so hyper vigilant. They're so great at like mind reading other people. Not actually mind reading, obviously, but like monitoring and assessing changes in behaviors and patterns to be able to read between the lines extremely effectively, which helps them become very insightful into what people need, especially their loved ones. However, from the other side of things, not everybody else is so hypervigilant and constantly tracking and gathering information and assessing it and holding on to it and remembering it in so much detail. And so it's very beneficial for them to be able to see outside of their own perspective and realize, hey, not everybody is able to do that. Not everybody is coming from such a hypervigilant place. And so if I need something from somebody I love, it's perfectly okay for me to ask. It is necessary for me to clarify, to specify, to communicate. And the more there's that reminder in the relationship, hey, I want to be here for you. I want to be the best partner I can for you. And I also need you to communicate what you need from me, because I won't always know. The more you can say that, share that, remind them of that, the healthier your communication is likely to be. Of course, if the fearful avoidant is actually willing to communicate their boundaries and needs, which hopefully they will be coming from that kind of support system. Number 3, be consistent and congruent. especially congruent. Trust is largely based on congruency. In other words, do your actions and your words line up? If you say to somebody, I'm going to be at your house at 5 p.m. every day, and then you're always there at 7 p.m., they might trust you with everything else, but they're not going to trust you to be at their house on time, because what you say and what your actions are incongruent. So trust has a huge impact on that. It's also your ability to consider other people and their feelings and their reactions, and when you're making your own decisions that could affect them. And so the more you can really build that trust by practicing congruency, by practicing considering them when you're making choices and decisions, not at the expense of yourself, but just equally to yourself, checking them in, letting them know different things, considering them when you decide to do something that could directly affect them or even indirectly affect them, the more you're building that trusting relationship, and it will be very healthy and important long-term. Number 4 is be present. Fearful avoidants really crave that depth. They really tend to derive a lot of their bonding in relationships from like deep conversation, quality time, presence, emotional connection, vulnerability, openness. The more you share and you ask and you're present, the more they're going to, again, like get their need met for closeness and love and connection, but also get their need met for safety, because a lot of the way that they've learned to build safety in relationships is around being able to paint a full picture of what somebody is like, and then know, okay, is this person able to show up, and can I trust them or not? And so the more you can be present, the better. And it's creating that framework to use. Number 5 is validate their emotions. Now, sometimes fearful avoidance, as we know, can be emotionally volatile. I'm not saying if somebody's being emotionally volatile that it's necessarily good to validate their behaviors. So I don't mean like if somebody lashes out and raises their voice that you're like, oh, I totally see why you raise your voice, and that's always okay. You can absolutely say, I see that you're hurt, and I just want to let you know I'm here for you. I care for your pain. I care that you're hurt. I'd love to talk about it, but I will also want to let you know that it's not appropriate or okay to raise your voice. We don't do that. And so the more you can communicate and validate their emotions, make sure their emotions feel seen. And it's not necessarily in an argument. It can also be make their emotions feel seen if they're having a hard day, or they come home from work and they're going through something, or they feel something, they feel excited about something, to be like, oh, I see this is really exciting for you. That's amazing. Just to let them feel seen, heard, understood, connected to, bonded to. All these things can be very important for the relationship. So those are 5 places to get started. If you want to do a deeper dive into how the fearful avoidant is, like their blueprint of their patterns of behavior and how they show up in each of the 6 stages of a relationship, check out the link in the description box below. You can access the 7-day free trial to all of our courses and all of our events. And through that, you can also click the advanced fearful avoidant attachment style course, and that will give you that roadmap and blueprint for the fearful avoidant in the different stages of a relationship: the dating time, the honeymoon phase, the power struggle, stability, commitment, and bliss stages. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for being here and for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one.